Picture this scenario. You have resided in the United States for 20 years. You own a home. You have kids enrolled in school. You pay your taxes. You head to work every single morning. You have followed every rule, everything done properly. And then one day you decide to travel. Maybe you fly back to visit your mother. Maybe you attend a family wedding. Maybe you simply need some rest. An ordinary trip. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, nothing out of the ordinary. You touch down again at JFK. You approach the CBP counter. You present your green card, the identical card that has carried you through this line 100 times before. But this time, the officer does not scan it and motion you forward. This time, he glances at his screen, glances at you, and utters 4 words that alter everything. Step aside, please. They escort you to a back room. They seat you down. They begin firing questions. Questions you were not ready for. How long were you away? Where are you employed? Show me your tax return. Do you have a lease? Show me your phone. Your phone. They launch your WhatsApp. They scroll through your conversations. They screenshot an exchange with your cousin, an exchange where you joked about overstaying your trip. It was humor. You returned. You always return, but they are not amused. Then they place a document in front of you, Form I-407, Record of Abandonment of Lawful Permanent Resident Status. They instruct you to sign it. They insist it will be simpler if you just sign it. They warn you that if you refuse to sign, you will be detained. This is not a scene from a film. This is occurring right now in 2026 at airports throughout the United States. And today, I am going to explain precisely why it is occurring, the 3 new CBP rules that are enabling it, and the exact measures you must take so that this never happens to you or your loved ones. Do not skip a single second of this video. What you discover in the next 20 minutes could mean the difference between walking through that airport and never walking out. Welcome back. This is the video where you get the unfiltered truth about immigration. No sugarcoating, no clickbait, just the information you need to safeguard your family. If you are a green card holder or you know someone who is, this is the most critical video you will watch this year. Subscribe, hit the bell, and share this because someone you care about needs to hear this before their next flight. Before I dive into the 3 new rules, let me paint the landscape for you, because if you do not comprehend what has shifted, you will not comprehend why your green card is now a target. In fiscal year 2025, CBP conducted 55,318 electronic device searches at U.S. ports of entry. That is up 17% from the 47,047 searches in 2024. Let me frame that figure for you. In 2016, CBP searched approximately 19,000 devices. In 2025, that figure nearly tripled, and the searches of devices belonging to American citizens alone surged from 8,657 in 2023 to 13,590 in 2025. If they are subjecting citizens to that, picture what they are doing to green card holders, and it is not limited to phones. A 66-year-old legal assistant named Victor Isla, a green card holder for 58 years, was detained at the airport after visiting his son, who serves in the U.S. Air Force. 58 years as a lawful permanent resident, and they directed him into secondary inspection. A Filipino green card holder named Maximo Londoño was detained at Seattle-Tacoma Airport after a routine vacation to the Philippines. He spent 3 months in ICE custody. 3 months. A Korean green card holder named Tae-hyung Kim was detained at SFO and transferred to a detention facility in Arizona, reportedly sleeping in a chair with no access to adequate facilities. These are not criminals. These are not overstays. These are individuals who had every right to be in this country, who held green cards in their possession, and who were torn from their lives at an airport counter. In 2026, under the current administration, CBP officers have been granted broader discretion, expanded digital tools, and a political directive to be aggressive. The message from leadership is unmistakable. Question everyone. Trust no one. And if there is any doubt, detain. So here is what shifted. 3 specific rules that you must understand. Rule number 1, mandatory biometric entry and exit tracking for every green card holder. On November 20th, 2025, DHS published a final rule to advance the biometric entry-exit program. This rule took effect on December 26, 2025. Prior to this date, certain categories of travelers were exempt from biometric collection: diplomats, most Canadian travelers, and children under 14. Those exemptions have been eliminated. As of December 26th, every single non-citizen, including every green card holder, is now subject to facial recognition and fingerprint collection when entering and when departing the United States. Now, you might assume this is insignificant. They capture your photo, they scan your fingerprint, and you proceed on your way. But that is not what this rule truly concerns. This rule is about constructing a complete travel history for every green card holder in real time. Prior to this rule, CBP possessed your entry records, but frequently lacked your exit records. They knew when you arrived, but they did not always know precisely when you departed. That gap afforded green card holders a small window of ambiguity. If CBP inquired, "How long were you outside the country?" and you responded about 4 months, there was no immediate method to contradict you. That window is now sealed. With mandatory biometric exit, CBP knows the precise date and time you boarded that aircraft. They know the precise date and time you returned. They can calculate to the hour how long you were absent, and here is where it turns dangerous. If your absence exceeds 180 days, you are automatically subject to new immigrant inspection procedures under 8 U.S.C. 1101. That means CBP can treat you not as a returning resident, but as a new arrival. They can challenge the validity of your green card. They can commence abandonment proceedings. They can place Form I-407 before you and pressure you to relinquish your status. Prior to this rule, some of these cases slipped through the gaps because the data was incomplete. Now, every single day of your absence is tracked, recorded, and flagged. The system performs the calculation for the officer before you even reach the counter. What you need to do if you are a green card holder who travels frequently: obtain a re-entry permit, Form I-131, before any trip that might exceed 6 months. Keep your trips under 180 days whenever feasible. And if you must travel for longer, make absolutely certain you maintain robust ties to the United States, a lease, utility bills, tax filings, employment records. Carry physical copies of all of these documents with you every single time you fly. Rule number 2, CBP is now searching your phone and they do not require a warrant to do it. Let me be exceptionally clear about something. Under current U.S. law, CBP possesses the legal authority to search any traveler's electronic device at any port of entry without a warrant and without probable cause. This is known as the border search exception, and it applies to citizens, green card holders, and visa holders equally. But what has shifted in 2026 is the scale, the technology, and the intent behind these searches. CBP now employs 2 primary forensic tools, Celebrite and Gray Key. These are not officers casually browsing through your photo album. These are military-grade extraction devices that can pull every piece of data from your phone: deleted messages, cached files, app data, location history, encrypted conversations in minutes. The Electronic Frontier Foundation filed a brief with the Third Circuit in March 2026, arguing that these forensic searches are so invasive that they should require a warrant. That case remains pending, which means right now, today, CBP can do this lawfully, but it gets worse. On April 7th, 2026, just days ago, NPR and VPM reported that ICE has acknowledged using Paragon spyware, a tool capable of intercepting encrypted messages on applications like WhatsApp and Signal. While ICE and CBP are distinct agencies, They share data, they share systems, and they share the same Department of Homeland Security infrastructure. If ICE possesses Paragon, assume that the information ecosystem at the border has access to its outputs. Now, let me explain what CBP officers are specifically seeking when they search a green card holder's phone at the airport. They are seeking evidence of abandonment, messages that suggest you are residing abroad, photos geotagged in another country over extended periods, employment records outside the U.S. They are seeking evidence of unauthorized activity, conversations about working under the table, screenshots of cash payments, anything that suggests immigration fraud. They are seeking social media posts, political commentary, anti-government statements, connections to flagged individuals, membership in certain groups. The New York Times reported in January 2026 that U.S. border agents now possess broad authority to examine a mobile phone, review comments made on social media, and inspect a laptop without a warrant. USA Today reported that the State Department has proposed requiring 5 years of social media history from certain visa applicants. And while that proposal targets visa applicants specifically, CBP officers are already utilizing social media as a screening tool at the border for everyone, including green card holders. Here is an actual scenario. A green card holder returns from a 3-week trip to Pakistan. During secondary inspection, a CBP officer requests to see his phone. On his WhatsApp, there was a group chat where someone shared a political meme criticizing U.S. foreign policy. The green card holder did not post it. Someone else in the group did, but the officer screenshots it, adds it to the file, and uses it as a basis for extended questioning. The man is held for 9 hours. His family has no idea where he is. He is eventually released, but with a notation in his CBP record that follows him for every future entry. This is the reality of 2026. What you need to do before every international trip: audit your phone, remove any conversations that could be misinterpreted, log out of group chats that contain political content, delete cached data. Better yet, travel with a clean phone, a separate device with no social media applications, no messaging history, and no sensitive files. If CBP requests to search your phone and you are a green card holder, understand this. You can refuse, but refusal may result in extended detention, seizure of your device, and heightened scrutiny. There is no perfect answer here, but going in prepared is better than going in uninformed. Rule number 3, CBP officers are aggressively pressuring green card holders to sign Form I-407, voluntarily surrendering their own status. This is the rule that alarms me the most, because it is not a new law. It is not a new regulation. It is a new tactic, and it is succeeding. Form I-407 is the record of abandonment of lawful permanent resident status. When you sign this form, you are voluntarily relinquishing your green card. You are telling the U.S. government, I no longer wish to be a permanent resident. Once you sign it, your green card is confiscated. Your status is terminated, and reversing it is extraordinarily difficult. Here is what is occurring in 2026. Green card holders arrive at U.S. airports after trips abroad. They are directed into secondary inspection. The CBP officer begins posing questions designed to construct a case for abandonment. How long were you absent? Where do you actually reside? Where do your children attend school? Do you file U.S. taxes? Where is your U.S. address? If the officer determines that there is reason to believe you may have abandoned your residency, they present Form I-407. And here is the critical part. They frame it as though signing is your best option. They say things like this will make it simpler for you. They say if you do not sign, you will be detained. They say you can always reapply later. They say this is just a formality. It is not a formality. It is the termination of your green card. What most people do not realize, and what CBP officers do not disclose, is this. You possess the absolute legal right to refuse to sign Form I-407. According to AILA, the American Immigration Lawyers Association, if you refuse to sign, CBP must issue you a notice to appear before an immigration judge, and only that judge, not the CBP officer, possesses the legal authority to determine whether you have actually abandoned your residency. Let me repeat that because it might be the most important sentence in this entire video. Only an immigration judge can revoke your green card, not a CBP officer, not an ICE agent, not anyone at the airport. If you sign I-407, you are performing their job for them. You are surrendering your status on a piece of paper. Reports have emerged of elderly green card holders, seniors in their 70s and 80s, being pressured to sign I-407 after routine trips to visit family. These are individuals who may not fully comprehend what they are signing, individuals who are intimidated by a uniformed officer in a back room, individuals who simply want to return to their families and will sign anything to end the ordeal. This is not enforcement. This is coercion dressed in a uniform. What you need to do, memorize this sentence and teach it to every green card holder in your family. I do not wish to abandon my permanent resident status. I refuse to sign Form I-407. I request to see an immigration judge. Say it calmly, say it clearly, say it once. Then say nothing else until you have an attorney present. Write this sentence on a card and carry it in your wallet next to your green card. Give one to your parents, give one to your spouse. Give one to every green card holder you know. Now, let me assemble this all together with a complete protection plan. 5 steps that every green card holder must follow before their next flight. Step 1. Keep every trip under 180 days. If you cannot, file Form I-131 for a re-entry permit before you depart. Do not gamble with the biometric exit system. It is tracking you down to the hour. Step 2. Carry a travel documentation folder every single time you fly. Inside that folder, your U.S. tax returns for the last 3 years, your lease or mortgage statement, your utility bills, your employment verification letter, your bank statements showing U.S.-based activity, and your re-entry permit if applicable. If CBP questions your ties to the U.S., you open that folder and the conversation shifts. Step 3. Travel with a clean phone, no WhatsApp political group chats, no sensitive messages, no photos you would not want a federal officer examining. If CBP searches your device, the less they discover, the less they can use against you. Step 4. Never sign Form I-407. I do not care what the officer tells you. I do not care how exhausted you are. I do not care how frightened you are. Do not sign that form. Say the sentence. I do not wish to abandon my permanent resident status. I refuse to sign Form I-407. I request to see an immigration judge. Step 5. Have an immigration attorney's phone number saved and memorized. If you are detained, you have the right to make a phone call. Use it. Contact your attorney. Contact the ICE detainee hotline 866-347-2423. Have your family check the ICE detainee locator at locator.ice.gov. Do not attempt to talk your way out of it alone. I want to conclude this video by speaking directly to you. If you are watching this with a green card in your wallet, understand something. That card is not merely a piece of plastic. It represents years, perhaps decades of sacrifice. It represents the paperwork, the interviews, the waiting, the fees, the sleepless nights. It represents the promise that this country made to you, that you belong here, that this is your home. Nobody, not a CBP officer, not a politician, not a policy memo, has the right to strip that away from you in a back room at an airport by sliding a form across the table and instructing you to sign. But they will try, and the only thing standing between you and that moment is preparation, knowledge, awareness, the information in this video. So here is what I am asking you to do. Share this video with every green card holder you know. Send it to your parents, your siblings, your cousins, your friends, your co-workers. Send it to the uncle who travels back home every summer. Send it to the grandmother who visits the grandchildren abroad every winter. Send it to anyone who carries a green card and boards a plane. Because the people who lose their green cards at the airport are not the people who did something wrong. They are the people who did not know what was coming. Now you know. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you or someone you know been stopped at the airport as a green card holder? What happened? Your story might help someone else prepare, and tell me what immigration topic should I cover next. Your question becomes the next video. Subscribe, hit the bell, join the WhatsApp group. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. And see you in the next one. Protect yourself, protect your family, and never ever sign that form.